Now the chapter name is relations and functions, correct? Guys, before you understand relation, there is one sort of a prerequisite, what we call as Cartesian pairs. That is a very important thing before you learn relation, because a relation or a function is defined and understood with the help of this Cartesian product. Okay, so first let's try to understand what is a Cartesian product. So here we are looking at Cartesian product. What exactly we mean by Cartesian product? See here, whenever we talk about Cartesian, first thing that comes to the mind is Cartesian coordinate system, XY axis, correct? Now we'll take the same example, and with the help of that, we'll understand what is a Cartesian product. Okay? Now, in the XY plane, so assume that we are going to look at the X and Y axis here. This is 0. Assume that you have a point. Okay, let's say the point is somewhere over here. Okay? Say this point is given by, let's say this is 5, 6. Let's assume that this is the point 5, 6. Now, all of you know what is abscissa and ordinate. Abscissa is the X, ordinate is the Y, correct? So here, this is given as X, Y, correct? It's always X, Y. And in this case, X belongs to X axis. Here, this is X axis, this is Y axis. X belongs to X and Y belongs to Y, ordinate, correct? Now, how exactly are you writing this particular point? We always write it as, we write it as X, Y. X comes first, Y comes second, isn't it? Now, this much I think it's very basic thing which all of you know. Now, let me give you another not example, another more like a thinking process kind of question. Now here, suppose say we have different values for X and Y. Okay, suppose I'll give you that for X and Y, X has a value of 3 and 5. Suppose say Y has a value of, let's say, 2 and 1. Okay, assume, in the sense, X can take a value of 3, 5, Y can take a value of 2 and 1. Now, in total, how many points are possible? Again, I'll tell you, X has 2 values which can take 2 values. Y can take 2 values. Now, in total, how many X and Y pairs I can make? You can make 4 pairs, isn't it? The first one is what? 3, 2. Next is 3, 1. This is one pair, like 2 pairs. The next one is 5, 2 and then 5, 1. So, from 2 X values and 2 Y values, we got 4 pairs of points, isn't it? Now guys, what I'm trying to tell you is, for every value of X which belongs to X, in the sense for every value of X which belongs to X, and for every value of Y which belongs to Y, we have a point X, Y, correct? For every X and for every Y, we have a point X, Y. Now this X, Y is what we call as an ordered pair. Okay, it's called as a Cartesian product, or you can also call it as an ordered pair. Alright, the reason why we call this as an ordered pair, because first is always X, next is always Y, isn't it? So, a Cartesian product of 2 sets, this is where sets are important, because X and Y, these two are set of numbers. If you know what these X and Y axis are, X axis is one number line, Y axis is another number line, don't you think so? Because set of all real numbers are there in X and Y axis. So both X and Y are set of real numbers, and we are selecting numbers from that set of real numbers, isn't it? So we are selecting X from a set of real numbers, which is basically X axis, and we are also selecting Y from a set of real numbers, which is basically Y axis. So when we write X belongs to X and Y belongs to Y, we are basically telling we are taking two values x and y from set of real numbers and we are pairing them up, and that too in a particular order we are pairing them up. That's why they are called as ordered pairs, which are x comma y. Fair enough? Now this particular way of representing and writing is basically Cartesian product of sets. Okay, so the formal definition of a Cartesian product of set, we can write, suppose say you have two sets A and B. Need not be real numbers like what we are taking, it can be any two sets. Suppose if you have two sets A, we write it as A cross B. So A cross B is the Cartesian product of two sets A and B. So A cross B is equal to A comma B such that A belongs to A and B belongs to B. A belongs to A and B belongs to B. Now, this is the formal definition of Cartesian product of two sets. Fair enough? And we take a value of A from capital A and B from capital letter B. And once you have that A and B, we write it in a particular way. We present them in an order. That's why they're called as Cartesian product or ordered pairs. So the Cartesian system, what you're seeing on the screen here, that 0.5 comma 6 is an ordered pair. Okay. Now there are certain rules and properties for ordered pairs, especially for, you can say, the Cartesian product also. Okay. So those rules or properties, you can say characteristics also. So all these things we'll discuss in the next video.